Babaji, well, we're always asking you for things, telling you all our problems. What I want to know is, what do you want? What do you want to happen? What would you like to see?
Meditation. I want to see happy people, happy faces.
Okay.
You see, Beta, you're right. We've become beggars. I think it's become a habit of ours to constantly ask, constantly want, and constantly desire. The Lord hasn't sent us here to be beggars. He sent us here to achieve freedom. And freedom means freedom even from your desires. As long as you are wanting, you become subservient to your desires. So we need to be free from everything. And that will only happen when we are able to stand on our feet, we are able to understand the truth about the creation. We need to come to terms with ourselves. So meditation is a process where you are going above all this, understanding and learning what the truth is.
Radha Swami Babaji, thank you for giving me this opportunity. My question is quite long, so I'm going to keep it sweet. Can you define the difference between reality and spirituality?
Spirituality makes you experience reality. Today we are not experiencing, we are living in an illusion. That's why Shakespeare, his famous quote, all the world is a stage. We are all, actors on this stage. We've been given a part, we are playing that. And while playing it, we've got so attached to it that when the play is over and we are asked to step off, somebody says, no, but I am a father. Somebody says, I am a king. Somebody says, I am a mother. Play is over. Part is finished. We all have to go our separate ways. So it's an illusion. So spirituality will help you to experience reality and to accept reality. We are running away from reality today. None of us has the courage or the conviction to face reality today.
Babaji, my question's about leaving the body during meditation. I've read lots of books about people who've had near-death experiences and they see a light or they recognize who they really are straight away. But what happens and what can you do if you start to leave your body and you just see darkness? And
nobody leaves the body. It is just a feeling that you experience. Leaving the body means finished. Soul never leaves the body. What does happen is you feel very light. And we symbolize that as if we think that the soul is leaving the body. Nobody leaves the body, beta. So it's just a feeling, just an experience within yourself. Because as your load becomes lighter, automatically you will feel light, beta. And when you feel light, then automatically the consciousness starts rising. But it's all within yourself. It's not. We say out of body experience. There's nothing called out of body experience.
Radha Swami Babaji. Babaji, my question is regarding the soul. At time of death, is the soul aware of its surroundings? And secondly, does it get impeded by its family grieving when departing?
Not after death, before the death years. Because once what we call so-called death, the soul has left. It's not aware of anything. But before that, if the family is grieving and you see long faces around you, then all the associations come forward of your responsibilities, of monetary items, this, that and all. And that creates a hindrance. And that is why we were always given the example, leaving the body is like you throw a thin veil on a thorny bush. Now, if you one by one, you take out the veil from the thorns, you will get the veil intact. But if you try and pull it at once, what will happen? It will tear. So that's what happens. If through our life, through our meditation, we've sort of realized what the reality is, and we've kept a certain balance in our relationships, in everything that we do, it becomes very easy for the soul to depart the body. But if there are attachments which have made us possessive, then those attachments, like those thorns, are holding us back. And that is what causes the pain and the agony. That is why you will see sometimes you could be sitting next to the person who's dying, and somebody calls you, and behind the person, full day long you've been sitting there. But you've gone to the toilet, you've gone to drink water, and the person has passed away. That was because we were being a hindrance. So the Lord, in His wisdom, knows what is best for each soul. We go too much into analysis of all that. So for us, what is important is to accept. And if we accept, it's such a load lifted off you.
Thank you, Babaji.
That's me, Babaji. Babaji, we've always read in scriptures that God is almighty, all-powerful, omnipotent, but we have so many views of Him. Some people are certain that God doesn't exist at all. Some people are so strongly holding on to the dogmas of their faith that they are claiming that they've seen God, they've met God. But some people, I think most of the people, are always struggling with the ambiguity whether God exists or not, and whether they are following the right path in pursuit of finding God. Babaji, my question is, why can't God just show up and tell us? I mean, even though you've said that we have to find God from within, but you see, there are so many distractions and so much extra information out there that if we go through every piece of that information, it becomes pretty much impossible to comprehend the claims of His existence. Even though also in many religions we perceive God in many different forms, yet we also say God is one as an Ik Onkar.
Beta, first and foremost, there is only one Lord, Beta. Because He exists in singular form, there can't be duality where the divine is concerned. Duality we've created, Beta. Now, let's take the Hindus. In the Hindu religion, there are so many gods, right? But the Vedas still talk about the one. They don't talk about duality. So what happens is that it becomes difficult for any one who's in the physical parameters to comprehend that there could be one person who is so powerful. If I was to explain to you that one particular human being could do so much, I mean, you know your limitations, and you would compare it with that, I mean, to 10% more, 20% more, 30% more, you would agree. But to say that somebody could have 1,000% more than your ability, it becomes difficult to comprehend. So what did they do? They broke it up. Okay. You have one sun. Now you take every ray of light and you give it a different name. So Vidya, Saraswati. The creator, Brahma. The sustainer, Vishnu. The destroyer, Mahesh. So the portfolios were allocated. But beta, the ray of light cannot exist without the sun. The sun can exist without the ray of light. So it was just for our benefit that they divided all this. In Christianity, they have the patron saints. There's a saint, patron saint for health, patron saint for travel, patron saint for business, for everything. They have a patron saint. So when you have a business problem, you pray to that saint. And it's the same in our setup, in the Eastern setup. So these were our creations. God was not our creation. The divine, there's only one. Now, in different religions, when people came, you had to create an entity for us to focus on. You can't just say, "Ji, pray to somebody who's non-existence. So to give him some sort of a definition, they used words. What words did they use? So when they were talking about the qualities, the attributive or the descriptive qualities, let's take any name, Paramatma. What is the meaning of Paramatma? Param Atma. So these are descriptive names which were used to help us to focus on that one. Vaheguru, God is great. But using different words doesn't mean that he goes into duality. So, beta, God as an entity is the creative power. Now you can call him God, you can call him Akal Purakh, you can call him Khuda, you can call him Rab, whatever. These are all names given to that one. As we saw, as any spiritual leader saw him or what he visioned of him, giving words to his experience, he gave a particular name. But he's nameless. He doesn't have any name. So, why do we have to pray to him? Beta, if there's a picture, there has to be a painter. If there's a creation, there has to be a creator. Whom things don't happen on their own, do they? Now, even the people who don't believe in the Lord, let's say the atheist, they believe that there is no Lord. So, how was the creation created? Through energy, right? Now, there has to be a focal point of energy. Energy can't come out of nowhere. It has to come out of somewhere. So, let's say the focal point we call God and the energy we call Shabad. Aren't we saying the same thing? Everything is created from energy, na? Shabde tarti, shabad akash, shabdo shabad pe aparkash. Jeta kita teta naum bin name nahi ko thaum. Okay, everything has been created by energy, by the Naam or by the Shabad. We read the Bible, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and all things were created by it. So it's not that they are talking in different languages. Our perspectives are different. That's why we divided ourselves into different religions. So the basic thing to understand is that there is a creative power. Okay? Now you can call him by any name, whichever name you are comfortable with. You can call him Akal Purakh, you can call him God, you can call him Kul Malik, you call him whatever you feel like. But he's the creative power.
So, Babaji, with respect to his creation, we all know that God loves all his children very dearly. And we many times refer to him as Dayada Sagar. Yet, he allows evil to exist. For example, allows wars or riots, which lead to the destruction of his creation, when by all means he can stop them. So, Babaji, the question is, knowing all this, how can I develop love for him?
Okay, let's look at that. Now, when he created the creation, he created the law of creation, beta. The law of nature was created. Now, the law of nature is, as you sow, so shall you reap. Right? Now, even in our governments and all, certain laws have been created. So, why does police let crime function? Why don't they just, before somebody is going to do, just catch him and put him up in the locker and all that sort of a thing? So, anybody who goes against that law of creation, the law of nature, what is going to happen? Action, reaction, consequence. Right? So, the Creator has created a beautiful creation. In this creation, whatever is created is positive, is beautiful. But who makes it bad? Our actions make it bad, better. You take a flower, take the rose. You see the flower, it's beautiful, right? So when we see beauty, it's positive. Just below the rose is the thorn. Thorn creates pain. For us, pain means negative. In isolation, positive, negative. But if you see it in totality, if the thorn wasn't there, what would happen? The animals would come and eat up the rose. So the thorn is there to protect the rose. Now, if you look at it from that point of view, there's a beauty to that thorn. In isolation, I can say positive and negative. But if I see the total picture, there is a reason for that. But that awareness has to be there, no? For us to appreciate that. So there's a purpose for everything. For us, I mean, look at the lizards. Who likes to have a lizard around in the house? We all don't like. But if the lizard wasn't there, she won't eat the mosquito or she won't eat the fly and all. So there is a chain. Because we are looking at everything in isolation, so we can't appreciate that chain. This corona that we've got ourselves into, why? When you go into somebody's habitat, they are going to come into your habitat. All these viruses, bacteria, everything existed in all the forests and everything. You've destroyed the forest, you've destroyed everything. They've come into your habitat. So haven't we brought it upon ourselves? Now, after I take the negative action, when I have to face the consequence, then I remember that the Lord is a very loving Lord. Why am I going through this? So it's a lack of understanding, beta. Whatever He's done He's created a beautiful creation. Everything has been done objectively. We look at things in isolation. We are not willing to take responsibility. You know, if two children go and do something naughty and they get caught. So the moment they get caught, the one chap will say, he made me do it. He's not ready to take the blame. And that's precisely what we do. Lay the blame on somebody else without understanding that we are destroying nature. We are destroying the environment. We are destroying everything. The most destructive creature in this creation is the human being. That's beside the point that the Lord made him top of creation. Look at the animals. They don't hoard. Do they hoard? Whatever they need to eat, they eat, and the rest they leave for the next creature. What does a human being do? He will hoard and hoard and hoard, not only for himself, thinking that he will be able to protect even his future generations. Doesn't he do that? Now, if the Lord has made us the top of the creation, shouldn't we have more faith than those animals who can't even think? But what was given to us as an asset, we've reduced it to lack of faith.
Thank you, Babaji.